All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, June 24th. We got a decently sized MLB slate to dive into in today's video, like we always do. We're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about all the other plays that I like within the game, like player props as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment for all of my final plays. Those will be updated in the pinned comment. In terms of the last time you saw me, we were traveling back home yesterday, so no video yesterday, but a couple days ago we had 3 plays coming your way. We cashed 2 of them, so a nice 2-1 night there. That Giants and Cardinals nerfy, they scored like a million runs in the first inning, so that was tough. But nonetheless, a 2-1 nice little positive night. Before we do jump into today's show, I do want to talk to you guys about Sleeper. If you have not signed up for the Sleeper player prop app yet, make sure to go do so with the link in the pinned comment. The link's also in the description. You'll get 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100. You throw in $50, they'll match it. You have a new account playable balance of $100. Anything within $100, they will match it, guys. This is a great app. You combine 2 or more players into a slip. The more you get right, the more you get paid out. It's really cool. And each and every player dynamically updates the payout amount. They don't just follow a fixed payout structure. And they have free squares and discount squares more than anyone else in the game. And they have more offerings. So go check out Sleeper, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let's knock the rust off here as we had a day off for travel. Let's jump right into it. We got Baltimore taking on Cleveland here. Looks like Cade Povich on the mound for Baltimore, going up against Tanner Beebe for Cleveland. Beebe's looked kind of, I don't want to say erratic, but kind of up and down in his last few starts. Povich is interesting because he had one really bad start to start his season, right? He has 3 starts in the year, and then his next 2 starts have been pretty damn good, one of which he didn't pitch deep into the game, but he pitched fairly okay against New York. He was really wild with the walks, which isn't the best of things to see, but still, you know, in his last 2 games, only 1 earned run total. The price you're getting this at, you can actually get it for -118 over on FanDuel. I think I have to lean towards Baltimore, not necessarily backing him, but saying, like, okay, like, I hope he does okay, right? But you're getting Baltimore's offense at a good price because Povich is on the mound. So give me Baltimore money line in this game, number 1. When it comes to a total, I'll still lean towards the over because, 1, I think the way that Baltimore wins this game is by trying to get to BB, right? And 2, hell, say, Povich doesn't pitch all that well. Okay, well, the Guardians can probably put up a few runs against them. He is a left-handed pitcher. They're not the best against lefties. A very good offense against righties. Not the best against lefties, but I do still think, if, that's kind of like the safety net. If they get to him, we still have an over. I wouldn't mind considering a first 5 over here either, as Cleveland and Baltimore both have pretty damn good bullpens. So that's definitely something of consideration. So give me Baltimore as well as the over. No major player props that I'm loving in this spot either. All right, next up, Detroit taking on Philly here. Philly, 2 days ago, we ended up cashing their first 5 run line, and I think that may be something we turn back to today. In terms of what we've seen out of Philly, they just took 2 of 3 against Arizona. Detroit also took 2 of 3, but they were playing against the White Sox. The one thing that concerns me is they scored 11 runs yesterday. Like, are they feeling it? Are they going to go out there and do it again? They got to Cannon early, but honestly, Aaron Nola versus Casey Mize, you tell me that that's the matchup overall, and I think that I'm going to end up, leaning towards Aaron Nola. And this Philly offense should be able to get to Casey Mize, especially with his pitch mix. He throws a lot of fastballs. Philly, top 5 in terms of runs above average in the last 30 days against the fastball. He throws a lot of splitters. Okay, they're top 10 in that. When it comes to his third pitch, the slider, they're kind of middle of the pack, but nonetheless, Aaron Nola has a great pitch mix. I think he throws like 6 or 7 pitches. So to me, that's enough to kind of confuse this Detroit lineup. That's kind of like, honestly, in the last 30 days, bottom 10 against right-handed pitching anyway. So give me Philly either on the money or the first 5 money line or the first 5 run line. If you want to pay the juice, you got -155 over on MGM for the first 5 money line. But if you want to look at it from a run line perspective, you can get them at -0.5 for the first 5 for -110 over on DK. So, if you want the safer play, you're paying a little bit more juice, but it does seem like it could be a good move. In terms of a total here, I'm going to lean towards the under solely because I think Aaron Nola has a good game. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want to look at this and say, all right, no way that Philly doesn't score against Casey Mize. So maybe we pivot to a a Detroit team total under type of a thing, because Philly's bullpen's actually been pretty serviceable, which is funny because we take them first five because at the beginning of the year, and we've cashed this so many times this year, right? Their bullpen was kind of struggling, and now it's like, you know what, your bullpen's actually kind of intact and looking pretty good. So it is a little interesting to kind of to see it from that perspective. But either way, I think that this could either be a full game under or a, you know, taking Detroit on the team total under. From a player prop perspective here, I do like a few unders that we could potentially get from the Detroit side of things. I'm looking at Gio Urshela here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Get that -120. He's hitting 7 of his last 10. My one concern is that he hits righties better than he does lefties. Aaron Nola is a righty, so that could be a spot in which we kind of step away from. If you want a little bit more, maybe say a safer play there as well, you could look at his under in bases. He's hit that in 8 of his last 10 games, but you're paying a premium juice for that. I'd say top play that I like in this game is probably Philly first 5 money line / Philly first 5 run line. And then I'd probably consider Detroit's team total under. But keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys. Everything I'm talking about are plays that I like and plays that I think have value. But all, you know, the plays that I'm actually rolling with myself, if you do want to fade me or if you want to ride me, all those plays are going to be in the pinned comment. And speaking of fading me, guys, if you have not checked out the merch we have here on the channel, consider heading over to FadeMe.store. We get some great stuff over there. We put a lot of time and effort into the designs, the quality of the tees or hoodies or hats. Go ahead and check it out. Our latest drop is the king of the bases here. We've got tons of cool products over there. Head over to FadeMe.store. This blackout collection has been something that we've been selling really well. I know it's kind of an interesting one for the summer, but you know what? It looks pretty damn cool. But yeah, tons of cool stuff over there. Head over to FadeMe.store. Support us, support what we're doing here, and get some great merch at the same time. We always get the questions of, oh, like, thank you so much. How do I donate and Cash App? Guys, I'd rather you provide monetary services by picking up some merch, because at least you get something in hand. Yes, we're not making as much on that as if you were to just cash at me, right? But I'd rather, you guys get some great merch in hand as well. So head over to FadeMe.store if you do want to continue to support what we're doing here. But you know what? Let's go ahead and jump back into the slate. FadeMe.store, some great stuff over there. All right, next up, we have Tampa Bay taking on Seattle. I think this is a good spot for an under overall. It's at 7.5 right now, but you have Taj Bradley on the mound going up against Brian for Seattle here. Both these guys have looked fairly, well as of late. I'd say the last 3 starts for Bradley. Actually, I would say 4 of his last 5 starts have actually looked pretty good. He had that blow-up game against, Baltimore, but Baltimore's a good offense. So, let's give him a little bit of a leash there. In terms of, he's got a 1.2 ERA in his last 5 games here. At home this season, he has a batting average on the road this year, batting average against of 163, a whip of .64. I think this could be a decent spot for both pitchers to excel. Now, I may pivot and look at the first 5 under, just given the fact that both of these bullpens can be a little bit erratic. So I think, picking a spot for 2 mediocre offenses in the last 30 days up against 2 pitchers who are actually kind of hitting a stride right now, we could look at an under. Now, when it comes to a money line play, I don't know if you can necessarily go wrong with either side here. It's essentially a pick 'em right now anyways. You have -110 for Seattle and then -104 for Tampa Bay. I'm going to just, roll with the team that I think has been playing a little bit better of baseball, and that's Tampa Bay. I don't think that I bet that. If anything in this game, I'm definitely going to look at the first 5 under and then maybe even the full game under before I get to a money line here. But Tampa Bay has won 6 of the last 10. They've won 4 of their last 5. Maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit, whereas it's the exact opposite for Seattle, who was playing really good, right? But then they lose 2 of 3 against Cleveland, and they lose 2 of 3 against Miami. So you could take that both ways, though. If you're on Seattle, you could be like, hey, they're fired up to get back into a winning series. I get that, right? But to me, I'm just going to go with the team that's playing better baseball when I think that both these pitchers can do their job today. Another player prop, or just one player prop that I don't mind in this spot, is a potential look for plus money here. Taj Bradley, under 4.5 hits allowed. You get that for plus 105 over on DK right now. Not a bad deal whatsoever for a guy that's hit that in 3 of his last 5, 6 of his last 10. Could be a decent spot for him overall. But again, that first 5 under 4.5, I think could be a really good spot. All right, Boston taking on Toronto. Overall, you have a very, very hot Red Sox team right now, 8-2 in their last 10 games here. They just played Toronto and swept them in Toronto. Was that two series ago. So, I mean, they're looking pretty good right now. Tanner Houck pitched in that series, went 5 2/3, and got the job done. He's pitching today. The dude is absolutely filthy. Going up against Chris Bassett, I think he's a projected pitcher. I don't know if he's been confirmed yet for Toronto, but he really hasn't had the best of years. The one sort of redeeming quality I could say is that he's really good against right-handed pitchers, but right-handed batters. But this is a Red Sox team that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lefties slated to go in today's lineup. So I think that this is going to be a play all day long for the Red Sox. Can you get them at a good price tag? That is the question. Right now, minus 142 is your best bet there. But overall, I still think that they're worth it at that spot. If you want to just target Tanner Houck versus Bassett, I don't hate the first 5 run line either. Minus 0.5. And I always get the question too, like, what's the difference between first 5 money line and first 5 run line? And why is there value there? It's essentially the same thing as full game money line and full game run line, right? But the first 5 run line, if you take or money line, if you get the first 5 money line and they tie at the end of 5, it's a push. You get your money back, right? Run line, it's minus 0.5. They need to be winning by the end of that. So hopefully that kind of clears some things up there. But first 5 money line, you're getting Boston at minus 145. First 5 run line, so minus 0.5. Minus 105. So there may be a little bit more value there just targeting, Tanner Houck in this spot. I don't mind that whatsoever. In terms of what we're looking at from a total here, it's at 8.5 right now, and I think that's because the Red Sox offense, to be completely honest, in their last 10 games, only have 2 games that they've scored less than 4 runs, which is pretty damn impressive. And Chris Bassett has not been all that great. 1 on the season, 2 sort of against the Sox either. So regardless of if he's pitching or if someone else is pitching, I still think this is a Boston game and they go out there and score some runs. So I'll lean over, but the way that I'd probably play over is looking at maybe Boston's team total over, because you never know. Every single game that Houck pitches as of late, not even as of late, this season, he could go out there and kind of dominate and really shut down a good offense, which Toronto does have, but yeah, give me the over for the team total for the Red Sox. But that first 5 run line, first 5 money line could be something that we look at. Maybe very similar to, Philly. Like, we split a half unit, right? We pay the high end juice play, and then we get a little bit more risky with the run line. If we cash both, great. If we lose both, it's still, a half unit on each, so it's kind of a full unit loss. Just as if one of them were to lose, you know what I mean? Maybe that's what we do. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. I feel like that's confusing when I start throwing out like strategies about unit management and whatnot. But nonetheless, I think that's might be something that we end up doing. And then player prop wise, I don't mind Danny Jansen here under 1.5 bases. He's hit this in 5 straight games, 9 of his last 10. And against Tanner Houck should be a decent spot here. He's batting .227 against righties on the season. Doesn't hit the slider well, doesn't hit the splitter well. Those are 2 of the 3 main pitches that Houck is going to throw. So I like Danny Jansen under 1.5 bases. We just want to watch where we can get the value here. You can get it at minus 145 on DraftKings right now, but Caesar's the only one offering this, and they have it minus 174. So you might want to jump to this quickly. I might throw this in, as soon as possible, because I think it's going to move towards that minus 170 number sooner rather than later. I'd still play it up to like minus 155, but if we can get it at minus 145, that's probably the move. Real quick, guys, adding this after the fact, I also don't mind playing Tanner Houck to some degree, whether it's hits allowed or strikeouts or innings. If you can get some good value and a number that you think he's been trending well in this spot, I think it is a good spot. He's pitched really well against Toronto as of late, so that's also a spot in which I could definitely consider. We just didn't say that when we were originally breaking down the game, but I do think that could be a decent spot. As long as you can get a good price and a good line, I don't mind his strikeouts, hits allowed, his innings, or his walks, anything like that. I think he should have a good game. Cincinnati taking on Pittsburgh. I would say this is a wild one. Spears on the mound for Cincinnati, going up against Falter for Pittsburgh. I think I'm gonna lean towards the home team, Cincinnati here. I don't really, and I feel like we're taking a lot of favorites in today's video, but I don't really have much confidence in 1, either pitcher, or 2, either offense. So yeah, I'll lean towards Cincinnati, but this is probably not even a game, or I wonder if even series that I want to really invest some time into a final play, because both these pitchers are kind of erratic. Like, Spears hasn't looked good at any starts this season, but Pittsburgh's offense has not either. So yeah, we'll see what we do here, but I wouldn't expect anything. Give me Pittsburgh, give me the Reds, as well as maybe the over. Look at that total sitting at 10. Like, I think they expect both pitchers kind of struggle today. So give me Cincinnati as well as the over. I feel like I might have said Pittsburgh at one point 2 times at least. I know I just caught myself once, but Cincinnati over. That's it. Probably just staying as leans though. And there are a few player props that I don't mind here. The problem is, again, we're looking at a pitcher on Cincinnati side of things that could let guys tag him, but I don't mind Connor Joe, Brian Hayes, or Edward Olivares under 1.5 bases. King of the bases may be coming back, baby. We cashed Brian Hayes a couple days ago, so those are all looks that I would consider. But overall, like again, like against a pitcher like Spears, could there be a chance that someone goes off? I also don't mind Stuart Fairchild. You're paying a lot of juice, but on the Cincinnati side of things, same thing, under 1.5 bases. So 4 guys that I'm considering under 1.5 bases, but those pitchers are going to make it damn ballsy to pull trigger on. But we'll see. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. I've said it a million times in today's video. Guys, if you have not yet, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know that you made it to this point in the video by commenting 15 minutes in. I appreciate everyone that tunes in each and every day. We didn't have a video yesterday because we were traveling back from Texas, and we're struggling today, but you know what? We're grinding, we're getting these out, and hopefully we have a good winning day. So comment 15 if you made it this far in the video, and I do appreciate everyone that hits that like button and hits that subscribe button. Hell, I appreciate the guppies, even if you're hating on me, you know, leaving a comment and interacting with the channel. It's social media. There's no hard feelings. Comment 15 if you made it this far in the video. All right, we got St. Louis taking on Atlanta. We might get a little dicey with this one. I know I've been talking about taking a bunch of favorites so far, but you have Spencer Swellenbach on the mound for Atlanta going up against Lance Lynn. You guys know I'm not the biggest Lance Lynn fan, but Swellenbach has not been very good on the road, and I do believe you have a better offense on the Cardinals side of things as of right now, at least in the last couple weeks. So maybe it's a little bit crazy. Maybe it's something that you know, I should consider, because I do think Atlanta's offense, I keep saying, it's like a ticking time bomb in a good way. Like at some point they have to come around. But you know what? I'll sound that. I don't even know if it's worthy of a psycho alert alarm, but for plus 110 right now, I know it says plus 100 on the graphic, but plus 110 over on FanDuel, you can snag the Cardinals. I think that this could be a decent spot to take a peek at them for plus money. I don't like Lance Lynn, but I think that could be the move. So give me the Cardinals, as well as maybe a peek at the under. I think the only way that the Cardinals win this one is, sure, they can go out there and score some runs, right? But the Braves have to be kind of dormant. Like if the Braves give you 5 runs today, I think that I don't think that this is a lock for the Cardinals to win, right? But if he can, and the bullpen can kind of keep the Braves to 3 or maybe even 4 runs, I think we could see like a 4-3, 5-3 type of a game, which would stay under the number here. So yeah, Cardinals and the under in this spot. Again, I don't know if it's worthy of the psycho alert alarm, but yeah, give me the Cards. All right, this one probably is worthy of the psycho alert alarm. Garrett Crochet on the mound against James Paxton. I think that this could be a spot in which we say, you know what, screw it, roll with the White Sox. Crochet has been pitching really well, and he is just a good pitcher, and we've leaned him a couple times in spots. And I don't even know if, by the way, James Paxton is confirmed for LA. I do believe Garrett Crochet is confirmed, but the dude is just pitching really, really well, and we've leaned, what I was saying is we've leaned his way so many times in these underdog spots, and we haven't pulled trigger, and then he's cashed like some big time spots, right? The one thing that I would say though is the fact that, you know, you look at this and it's like just plus 114, like you are still betting on the White Sox at the end of the day, who just have not looked all that great. So there is a little bit of like, hey, let's make note of that, right? But overall, I think it could be a worth it type of play. I don't trust James Paxton. LA's offense is obviously very good, but yeah, Garrett Crochet is like working himself into my heart here. Pause. I think that he is literally like a really, really good pitcher, which should not be like shocking to anyone out there by any means. In terms of player props in this spot, we'll get to the total in a second. I don't have the biggest of spots here, but you know, looking at some guys under in bases again could be a good move. I think that as much as I'm gassing up Garrett Crochet, I think you have some value in Shohei today, over 1.5 bases, plus 110 on Caesars. He's done it in 5 straight, 8 of his last 10, 86% of games in his head-to-head numbers here, which would be 6 out of his last 7, and it's 6 straight against Chicago. So though I do think Crochet is obviously very good and whatnot, you do have a batter that, you know, just kind of turns it on against this White Sox team. So not necessarily minding that there. In terms of the total, I'm going to lean towards the over. But I will say it kind of directly contradicts what I'm looking at from a Garrett Crochet perspective, because I do think the way that they win this game is they hold, you know, the Dodgers to maybe 3 or 4 runs, which would mean that, you know, the White Sox to even hit this over would have to go out there and score 5 based on my math. So, you know, it contradicts it. But if I put these in a vacuum and I say, you know, you're still betting the White Sox, or you still got a White Sox on the side, you know, the Dodgers could just kind of tee off on any pitcher. So for what it's worth, I do like the White Sox money line because you're getting the plus money a lot more than I do the total. But yeah, I think that's the way that I'm leaning. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we roll with that. I said it again. If you guys don't know to keep an eye on the pinned comment by now, yikes, that's on you, not on me. But give me White Sox money line. That might be my favorite play in this spot. Crazy, but you know what? There's a path to it. All right, one last little break from the action here, and then we'll get to the rest of the slate. But guys, if you are not on Caesars Sportsbook, I do think it's time to do so. They have some really good value in the MLB, especially when we're looking at some of these player props with the under 1.5 bases and whatnot. I've noticed they're a little bit behind to some degree in updating some of their lines, so definitely worth capitalizing. But even aside from the value in the lines and all that, I do encourage everyone to always have as many sportsbooks, as long as they're regulated and whatnot, as many sportsbooks as possible, because you do want to compare all of the lines and get the best odds and best deals and all that. And right now, speaking of deals, if you do go over there and sign up for Caesars and you're a new user, your first bet, you can get up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet if it loses. So if you want to go over there and hammer something like a $1,000 on a huge money line favorite, it's kind of a no sweat, right? Like if that cash is sure, you'll win and you'll get that, and that's great. Now you're gonna have a huge balance in Caesars. But if it loses, you'll get it back in a bonus bet, and you can try your luck again doing the same strategy. So go ahead and try it out. I'll have a link first thing in the pinned comment as well as the description if you guys do want to check out Caesars. I feel like it's such an underrated book. Everyone's riding with FD or DK, but like Caesars really does have some value, and it's a very, very good book. I love their app and everything like that. Their app is so nice. If you're on the app, it's like processing your bet, Emperor, welcome back, King. And I'm like, this is amazing. Gas up my ego while I'm placing bets. But go check it out, guys. I do think it's a very, very underrated sports book, and I'm always encouraging you guys to have as many of these legal books as possible to get the best value. And that deal, you really can't beat it, right? Up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet. Again, you're getting that in one lump sum. They're not going to break it out into mini bets. So go ahead and check it out. That link, again, is in the pinned comment. It'll get you that deal and everything like that. No code needed, but it is in the pinned comment, and you guys can go ahead and sign up for Caesars. Now let's jump back into the rest of the games here. We got about 5 left. Let's do it. Kansas City's taking on Miami. Just due to the odds here, I don't have too much interest in it. Cole Reagan's on the mound going up against Roddery, Frankie Muniz. And yeah, it's just not the best spot for Miami. So I would lean Kansas City, but by far and away, this is some sort of a money line play in a parlay, if anything. Maybe you could consider and maybe convince someone of the run line, but I also don't necessarily love Kansas City on the run line because one, I'm not going to sit here and say that they've played good baseball, right? They've lost 7 of their last 10, and 2, for -1.5, you're getting them at -120. So I don't think there's much value on Kansas City other than a parlay throw-in, but I don't think I can be convinced of Miami's side of things. So again, it's not my favorite spot whatsoever on the board today. I don't mind taking a look at the over. I think that, Munoz should be able to, get probably even give a couple home runs to this Royals team. But Reagan's like, maybe he goes out there and doesn't necessarily have his best stuff either. He definitely hasn't as of late. And when I say best stuff, it's like his last couple games, he's allowed 5 earned runs total. So he's not been bad, but I don't think he goes out there and absolutely deals either. This Kansas City team just isn't in the best place, but they just haven't gotten to a level where I'm looking at Miami in this spot. So yeah, I like Kansas City as some sort of parlay throw-in, but I'll lean towards the over as well. You can probably tell in my voice, not my favorite spot. All right, Milwaukee taking on Tejas. I was just in Texas this weekend, but I'm leaning Milwaukee in this spot. Milwaukee's 5-5 in the last 10. Same thing as Texas, but Texas has won 4 straight games. I don't necessarily want to jump down that path and be like, yeah, like let's go and get on the Texas bandwagon, because they played Kansas City. They won 6-2, 6-0, 4-0. I just got finished saying that Kansas City hasn't playing the best of baseball, right? So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind, and I'm still going to lean towards Milwaukee. You have Freddie Peralta on the mound going up against Michael Lorenzen, projected to start. So I think that you have a little bit more value on the Brewers side of things. Their offense is better as well, so this could be a decent spot for them. Corey Seager under 1.5 bases, 8 of his last 10, 4 of his last 5, could be a decent spot to look there. But overall, I think the major play in this one might just be Milwaukee on the money line. It's just going to come down to what price you can get. Caesars, we just talked about, right? -155. Every other book in the -160s. So if you're on Caesars, you want to go sign up for Caesars, you get a little bit of value there. You get them in the -150s. When it comes to bullpens, Milwaukee does have a good bullpen. So I don't think that I'd even tell myself, let's go first 5 run line or first 5 money line to get better odds. I think I'd want the full game here. So kind of contrary to what I've said a couple other times, like, hey, if you can't find value in the money line, roll the run line for the first 5. Like, I think that I'd rather pick on Texas's bullpen and back Milwaukee's bullpen. So this is probably a full-on pay the juice of the money line or pass type of a situation for me overall. Peralta has some meh numbers against this Texas current roster, and then Michael Lorenzen has some good numbers. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily want to just peg on the starters. But I do think Milwaukee has the far better offense here. Total wise, I think you're getting probably a decent game out of one of these pitchers. So I'm going to lean under, but it's not necessarily because I think that, Milwaukee's going to, not score. I think that both these pitchers, one of them, I should say, will have a good game, meaning even if it's against our money line play and Lorenzen pitches well, I think the Brewers could score 3 runs and Texas could score 4 or, something like that. I think this is a 4-3 type of a game at maximum. So we'll see. All right, Angels taking on the A's. It's weird because I originally looked at this one and I'm like, why would I spend my time on it? I don't think I'm going to dig into it too much or anything like that. But the more I look at it, the more I could see myself somehow rolling with Oakland for the money that you're getting them at plus 120. Like, I think that could be a decent spot. I don't know if I have the cojones to pull trigger on Oakland, okay? But you have Medina going up against Griffin Canning, and Medina's been pretty good on the road this year. He hasn't been good overall. Neither one of these offenses is good. Griffin Canning's kind of sucked both at home and on the season. So, like, are we talking ourselves into an A's bet? I have no idea. They definitely have the better bullpen. We'll see. I don't think it's really the best spot on the board, but in terms of an underdog play, I don't necessarily hate Oakland, so give me them here. If the Angels were playing like hot baseball and scoring a bunch of runs and whatnot, I don't think that, I'd be considering this, but they haven't reached 4 runs. They've had 3 or less runs in 4 straight games here, one of which they had 0 runs. And even on the season, they're only averaging a little bit more than Oakland in runs for per game. So yeah, I'm going to lean towards Oakland. I'll also take the over here because I think it's like a 5-4 game. Neither one of these pitchers should be able to absolutely shut down either side, even though the offenses are tough. It's like, well, I don't necessarily think Angels go to Canning and then what in the bullpen, right? At least the Athletics have a decent bullpen, but I don't necessarily think that, it's shut down baseball on either side. So I'll lean over, but if there's one play that I could consider in this game to actually bet on, it'd probably be Oakland money line and take it from there. All right, San Diego taking on Washington. The odds in this one kind of shut it down for me because I can't really get to Washington. They have Patrick Corbin on the mound, who Patrick Fatum, we should call him, because he just really isn't a guy that I would trust or like to back. I do think Washington obviously has been a good money-making team this season, right? But Corbin has 2 straight good starts. 2 straight good starts against Detroit and Arizona. Like, this seems like the spot to not back him, right? Like, what? Is he all of a sudden going to turn into a really good pitcher? Like, I just can't see it happening. He's been pretty meh this whole season. He's pitched 2 straight games. I'm more likely to look at that and say, you know what, he's due for a bad game than, hey, he's on a roll. So San Diego money line, maybe we look at like a San Diego and let's see what we can get for that. San Diego and Kansas City money line parlay right now. You can get that for Caesars coming in best, plus 112 over on Caesars. So look at that. We talked about Caesars, and I do encourage you guys to go sign up. They've had the best odds on a couple different plays here so far. So comment down below parlay if you would like to see San Diego and Kansas City parlay. It's pretty much just taking the 2 heavy favorites, right, overall. But yeah, I just can't really get to the Nationals in the spot with Corbin on the mound. What we got from a total perspective, I like the under. I think that Matt Waldron, he's pitching against Corbin, actually should be able to be pretty serviceable here against this Washington lineup, who they definitely have good average, right, in terms of going up against right-handed pitchers in the last 30 days, but getting guys across the plate and scoring runs, like, it is a decent drop-off, so I don't necessarily mind taking a peek at him to have a decent game, meaning I don't mind the under in this spot, because I think that San Diego probably score 5, but at maximum, maybe Nationals 3, so maybe this is actually, as I say that, a first 5 play, a team total play going under for Washington. That way we can allow Patrick Corbin to go Patrick Corbin mode, and maybe the Padres score some runs, but yeah, I don't think that this is like I don't think both teams show up today overall. And then by doing so, I'm almost talking myself into this as we say it. Matt Waldron under 2.5 earned runs. That could easily be a play as well. You can get that for minus 137 on other than Caesars. And the other books have this at minus 155. So yeah, Caesars is slapping right now. I'm enjoying the fact that we're talking about Caesars and I like that book, and all of a sudden I'm like value. It's proven the point, right? Minus 137 on Caesars, minus 155 on DK, minus 155 on MGM right now as we're recording this for Waldron's under 2.5 earned runs. That could make its way into being a final play as well. All right, 2 projected pitchers in this one. We don't have a total yet, so I want to see who's pitching, but Spencer Howard slated to go for San Francisco, going up against Justin Steele, at least to start the game here. I've also seen Logan Webb there, so maybe he's the primary today pitching. If Logan Webb pitches, I think that this is probably a decent spot for San Francisco. If he doesn't, I'll probably lean towards the Cubs, but the Cubs just playing a game last night, right? Sunday Night Baseball. Like, this kind of screams Giants spot overall, but we want to see who's who's pitching. Like, I'd much rather wait out Logan Webb, but I've seen Howard on a couple different sites as well. So we'll see what comes from that, but keep an eye on the pinned comment, because if it's Webb, there's a chance that we roll with San Francisco, but we might get worse odds depending on who is the more likely pitcher right now. And then from a total perspective, we don't have anything as of yet, but I would say if this is 8.5, I'd go under. If it's 7, I'd go over. In terms of where we've seen lines for these teams in the past, though, and at least this season, right, they played almost like a week ago, right? 10, 9.5, and 10.5. Like, it seems like that they could have a high total game. So if it's near 10, I would still lean under. But again, we want to see who is pitching. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Happy to be back from vacation. I do appreciate everyone that's understanding that, we record videos when we can. And if I can't get a video out, there's such a legitimate reason as to why we're not able to. Even if I'm waking up after, I was on a bachelor party this weekend, waking up after getting like 3 hours of sleep. If I can physically get the video out and put the work into the picks and stuff like that, I will. So if we don't get a video out, it's for real reasons there. But appreciate everyone understanding when we're traveling back home. I was in the airport yesterday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. because our flight kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. So it was an absolute drag. But you know what? We made it. Got to sleep at like 2 a.m. Woke up early to do this. So hopefully a nap's in the cards today. But I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.